Good evening there, everyone. Welcome to another Monday night live here on Facebook from the studio. I hope you all had a really great weekend. It was really nice to see some sunshine show up here in Wisconsin today. We're kind of hoping that's going to stick around for a while. I think we're definitely done wanting to see any sort of snowflakes at this point. All right, couple reminders before we get started. The mini catalog will run through June 30th, in fact. So you still have plenty of time to be looking for things in here. Tonight I am going to be using the Tulip Stamp Set from here. It's called Flowering Tulips, and I forgot to mark the page, so let me just check really quick. Back here, page 16. It is part of the Mega Suite that has the windmill set, and then this one here. And I really like, I like the dies that go with it as well. Tonight, hi Mary Lynn, good to see you tonight. This one will be, it's great to use on its own, along with the dies, all that great stuff. And this is what I'm going to be using tonight. So I will be using Flowering Tulips from page 16. Remember that the current annual catalog is on its way to retirement. The retirement list is dwindling every day. Things are available as needed, or are only available as quantities last at this point. And that includes stamp sets. So if there's something that you have been wanting, be sure to check out that list. I have a pinned post on the Facebook page that should lead you directly to it, and you can see hopefully from there if something is still available or not. And if you have any questions, just reach out and ask, okay? And then hopefully in the next, let's see, this is the middle of April almost. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, hey, Kathy Jo, good to see you. Well, yeah, I'm hoping I don't know if I had much to do with the sunshine, but definitely grateful to see it. Now, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you will be finding one of these in your mailbox. I can only show you the cover for now, but I promise you there's tons and tons of really good goodies in here. I absolutely love the new in colors. This will be the new one that's available starting in May. It goes live on the 3rd of May. And if you haven't had one arrive in your mailbox by, I would say like the last week of April, shout out to me and I will make sure that you have one coming. Okay? Cannot wait for you guys to see all of that. But in the meantime, this one is still chock full of awesome things, and we're going to be doing a lot of things focused on that for the next couple of weeks so that it's all current and exciting. All right, let's get started with what we need tonight. You needed to have a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to be using Pear Pizzazz, and you score it in half. That's at 5 1/2 inches. A piece of neutral cardstock that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to be using basic white. Then also some kind of, I picked a circle about 2 inches. You could have some other sort of shape as well, just something that's about that size to decorate, put your phrase on, whatever you're doing with that. And then 4 pieces of designer series paper. I stuck with a very monochromatic theme with all my samples tonight. I chose one green color from each of the color families, and I looked into my DSP that's leaving, the color family DSP, and I pulled out a sheet of each of the green ones, and I'm going to be using all the other samples. Like I said, will have the other colors of greens that I picked. So this is Pear Pizzazz, and it's from the Pears in the Subtle family. Alrighty, so this one will go together lickety split once you have your focal point ready to go. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to use, like I said, all monochromatic, tone on tone, so I'm going with Pear Pizzazz for this as well. I'm going to take this little image here that's actually the inside of one of the tulips, but I'm just going to use it by itself just to fill in a little space on that particular one right there. And because I'm using Pear Pizzazz for everything, I'm going to stamp it off once so that it's a little lighter, and then just put it right in the middle. Then I can go back over it full strength with this one, and I'm going to apologize if my head gets in the way because I need to make sure I got it pretty centered there. All right. And there you go. That is my focal point. Oh, and you know what? I realized I forgot to grab. I said you could have some ribbon handy if you want to do like a knot or a bow, and I realized I left mine over. There we go. Other side of the room. All right, so if you have some of that handy, we're going to do that part pretty much last. So I'm going to be using the white Crinkle seam binding. That one is still carrying over, and it's one of the few actual white ones that we have, and I really like using it just as it is, but you can also color it, which is really a fun way to go. All right, I am going to bring in the samples I made. And you guys can decide where you want to put your designer series papers for the layouts. They're going to go on your 4x5 1/4 piece of cardstock. And you're just going to be making basically a pattern of something like this. So I'm going to put a long and a short and a long. Something like that. And you can put it on the edge, you can put it down the middle, you can put it on this side. You can have them closer together with less white showing, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to set this aside so you can see where I'm going with this one. And then I will show you a couple more. This is my garden green. And you can see here I split up the 2 long ones, and then I took the 2 short ones and put this in the center of it. So it almost also looks like one long piece. This is my Mossy Meadow. I did a similar layout. I just pushed it over to the right side of the white piece. And then lastly, this is my Granny Apple Green. Very similar to what I have laid out here. It's just the short is at the top instead of this way. Okay, so think about where you want to go with those particular things. And I realize I forgot to silence my phone, so apologize if there's a little blingy noise in the background. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble in the pattern I had set up here with one of these guys up here and a short one down here. And I purposely didn't tell you guys to pick a certain DSP, a certain direction, a certain pattern. You guys play with the 4 pieces that you picked. If you're showing 2 different sides of something, if you're using all the same, you know, I want to see what you guys came up with creatively. So when we're all done, make sure you share what you did so I can have a peek at it. All right. And last piece is going to go up on top. Up here. Alrighty. All right, so there's my basic layout. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my card base. So let's go ahead and give that a nice burnish. You can decide here too if you want to have any kind of dimension. You could pop up this layer entirely. I'm going to go ahead and just put it down directly for on camera, but know that you could absolutely use dimensionals on the back of the layer if you like. All right, and then lastly, our focal point. I am going to do that one directly down on this sample, and I did put them on dimensionals for the rest of the samples. You'll be able to see what that basically looks like. Okay, now here again, you can kind of decide what you want to do with your focal point piece. You can have it highlighting some of the empty white space anywhere along here. You can have it covering up some of the pieces here, down here, etc. So go with where you feel you want to have the focus. I'm going to go ahead and leave a lot of white space on the side there and just do it in the center of these particular panels. And then, like I said, take your ribbon. If you have some, add bling if you want to. You could do some rhinestones around, little pearls, whatever you've got for embellishments. Go ahead and come up with that now. I'm going to go ahead and make my bow. There we go. And this I will attach with a glue dot, and then I'll trim off the extra. All right. And remember, I like to take my items to the glue dot itself, and then I'm sure I've got it attached, and then pull it off from there. Okay, now here again, we have some options, above or below. I'm going to use this one. I think I'll go above. All right, and I'm just going to trim off a little bit extra so it doesn't hang off the card too much. Oh, and I managed to pull it right off. It got snagged on my scissor. All right, starting over, making a bow. Oh, the beauty of live video, right, everybody? Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. Oh, come on. Now my fingers don't want to work. There we go. Alrighty, so what does everybody else have going on this week? We've got pretty much normal routine, and then, of course, it's Easter weekend, so we will be with family a little bit. That'll be fun. Alrighty, there we go. Put that back in place. Ta-da! Okie dokie. So like I said, there is one version. This is my Mossy Meadow version. As you can see, it's pretty much the opposite of what I did here. I just moved it to the right. I did the bow on the bottom, and I did pop up my circle layer just to give it a little lift. Okay. Here again is my garden green version. I added a square of garden green behind my white circle just to have it show a little separation between the DSP and the white. There again, bows on top, and I took the 2 short pieces in the middle and then the 2 long pieces on the sides. And here is my Granny Apple Green. Pretty much the same as what I did on camera today, except I just flipped the way the long and short are laid out. And then of course I moved my focal point over to the right. And this one I did tape down directly. These two were popped up. And then I'll go ahead and show you the stepped up version of what I did here. I added some embossing to the white layer. I'll bring it up in a second to show you a little closer. I did add some cardstock behind the DSP, and I added some bling, and I added an extra layer around my circle using my circle dies. So it has a layer of pear pizzazz there as well. And this one, let's see if it'll show up. Otherwise you'll see it better in the picture too. It's the stripes embossing folder from the stripes and splatters. You get the two together. They're the 3-inch wide embossing folders, and they're in the mini catalog on page 55. So it added just a little bit of texture to that background, and of course I added some bling just to bring that all around and make it sparkle. Alrighty, so like I said, I wanted to go with kind of a monochromatic look. I was using up some of my designer series papers that are heading out. They are going to have all new patterns for the designer series paper color families. So that'll be really, really fun to see what's going to be there. So I'm trying to use up some of those that I have still laying around. And there again, I picked one color green from each of the color families. So I've got my brights is Granny Apple, my subtles is the pear, my neutrals is the mossy, and my regals is the garden green. Alrighty, well I said that would go super quick, and I wasn't kidding because we've only been here for 10 minutes. But I hope you enjoyed this layout. It's another great way to use up your scraps. You think of little pieces that you have left over, you can make all kinds of layouts and patterns with this kind of a concept. It's basically just like a puzzle. Put those pieces together however you like. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I will see you again next week for another Make It With Me Monday. Have a great night, everybody.